this morning.
Of course you did, Gary.
And I went back and I went, oh, wait a minute, this is a 3 thing. So you got to say it like this.
Hey! I think that given the number of people that are here now, we're probably fine. And I just put the stuff under that side, like the first 4 rows that I had. And so they can pass it across the aisle. You know? Yeah, it's not that big.
Good morning, everybody. Well, we really need the warmth of our community and the fire of our commitment to get us through this morning, but I know you all can do it. I am Gary Simon. I'm your worship associate this morning. I invite you to please rise in body or spirit to sing. We're going to sing hymn number 121 in our gray hymnal, 121.
Good morning. My name is Jim Russell. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm the president of the Board of Trustees here. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of the Hudson Valley. Whether you have been with this congregation a decade or more, or this is your first time, we welcome you. Whatever the faith and traditions of your past, we welcome you. Whoever you are and whomever you love, we welcome you. Whatever your theological stance, we welcome you. Whatever your heritage, we welcome you. We respectfully acknowledge the territory in which our church building sits as the ancestral homelands of the Munsee, Lenape, and Wappinger people. I have a couple of announcements this morning. As you may know, the Board of Trustees meets once a month, the second Wednesday of each month, and we met last Wednesday, and we decided we want to extend thanks to Hospitality Team 3, led by Joanne Hefner and Leah Nelson, for their work in December to make our coffee hours enjoyable for all. We appreciate it. The board voted unanimously to support our congregation's upcoming application to renew our welcoming congregation status. You'll be hearing more about this as we near our mid-year meeting on Sunday, February 16th, when we'll take a congregational vote to apply for renewal of our status. For the most up-to-date information on these topics and others, please refer to our weekly newsletter and check our website frequently. And please join us for conversation after the service. If you are present in the sanctuary, please join us for coffee and conversation in Fellowship Hall at the rear. If you're watching the live stream, the link for our Zoom coffee hour can be found in the Saturday reminder in your email. If you're just recently joining us and would like to receive our weekly e-news, please email us at uucroton@gmail.com. Send us your name, and we'll make sure you're added to our e-news list. Also, please remember to silence your cell phones at this time. Once again, we welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Hudson Valley.
I would like to introduce to you Reverend Lane Cobb. Reverend Cobb is an ordained interfaith minister currently serving the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Westchester in Mohegan Lake, New York. She lives in Tarrytown in her childhood home with her aging parents, for whom she is full-time caregiver. Reverend Cobb is also a volunteer in the town of Greenburgh, where she's co-chair of the Human Rights Advisory Committee and a lead team member of the Greenburgh Restoration Circle Project, a community building initiative that nurtures cross-racial, cross-cultural relationships and encourages civic engagement to support the town's commitment to promote equity and inclusion. Let us all welcome Dr. Cobb.
Thank you, Gary, and good morning, everyone. It's good to be with you again. Pardon my head wrap. I don't do cold well, so I'm going to wrap up anyway. So happy New Year. As we prepare for a changing of the guard in this country and cast our vision forward into a future that feels uncertain, to say the least, I would like to offer this prayer. May we find in this beloved community strength, courage, and fortitude for our shared journey forward. May we collectively and intentionally lean away from fear and toward possibility. May the God of our understanding grant us the wisdom and the grace to create safe spaces where love abounds and where everyone feels at home. Our call to worship this morning is from writer-philosopher Howard Zinn. Hopefulness in bad times. To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, and kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act, and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act in however small a way, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory.
I now invite all the children in the congregation to come and ring our bell with Kyla Oliver this morning to celebrate our 8 principles. Everybody, count along if you'd like.
Oh, look at all those beautiful children. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Light the chalice now. Today's chalice lighting words are adapted from Margaret Williams Braxton. Once upon a time I was, now I am, someday I will become. Once there was, and now there is, soon there will be, and someday there surely shall be. Once upon a time we were, now we are, and someday we shall surely become. Now, if you would please join me in saying our unison affirmation. The words are in your order of service. Inspired by love, our mission is to seek our true nature, connect deeply and openly, and act for justice. And now please join me in singing hymn number 168 in your gray hymnal. That's 168, One More Step. song will be to sing our children out to their religious education. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Today's reading is an excerpt of Loving Louder by Karishma Neva Gottfried. UU minister Karishma Neva Gottfried was raised in the UU Fellowship of Corvallis, Oregon. She's a graduate of Union Theological Seminary and uses they, them pronouns. Welcome to this space. You deserve to be here. Take a breath. Be present. You are exactly where you're meant to be. You are exactly who you are meant to be. You are here because there is something about this community that called you. There is something about Unitarian Universalism that speaks to your soul. Maybe it's our firm belief that every person is worthy of respect. Perhaps it's the way we hold space for believers and non-believers of many things. It might even be the way your heart feels when we gather together and sing. Whatever brought you here today brings you hope when hope is hard to find. And hope is hard to find. In a world where we are constantly comparing ourselves to others and wondering if we are enough, it's easy to feel hopeless. You might wonder, am I loved? Am I enough? Do I deserve to be here today? Am I doing the right thing? Do I deserve to be happy? The answer is an emphatic yes. But sometimes that's not enough. This world is cruel, and my yes can easily get drowned out in the sea of no's swirling around your mind. I feel hopeless too. There are times, many times, when I doubt myself. But I take comfort in knowing that this self-doubt, this hopelessness, is not unique. I am not, and you are not, the only people who feel hopeless. We all deal with the same fears of inadequacy. We all wonder if we don't deserve all that we have, if we aren't enough, if nobody loves us. We all give and receive love. But what happens when the person on the receiving end of that love just can't hear you? Well, you'll have to be a little louder. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe that courageous love can transform the world. Courageous love means loving people loudly. Tell people that you love them and make sure they can hear you. Because the thing about courageous love is that it starts to cycle around until you can hear it too. We come together in community to share with one another, to support one another, and to celebrate with one another. We bear sacred witness to each other in this honored ritual. As we begin, we know that there are both great sorrows and great joys in our world that must be acknowledged as well. We will light our first candle to honor those in pain, victims of violence and war and oppression all around our world. We light a second candle because we understand that amidst all of that pain, there's also celebration and joy in our world. We honor that joy and sorrow. We honor that joy and sorrow are woven together. For some of us here today, this has been a week of life-changing joy that needs to be lifted up in this worship. For others, this has been a time of deep pain and sorrow that needs to be shared to make the burden lighter. If this has been such a time for you, I invite you to come forward. I will light a candle. I would like you to briefly tell us of your joy or sorrow. You may also raise your hand in silent acknowledgement, and I will light a candle for you. Please.
I want to do my part about living loud right now. I want to say thank you so much to Jim Russell, Ginny Stillman, Betsy Tumick, and Nanette Kress for an amazing evening last night. A number of us bid on a Mediterranean progressive feast during the last auction, and we had the opportunity to gather together last night to share joy, to share experiences within the congregation, and for Ames and I being relatively new, it was just such a wonderful, wonderful experience. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
And to follow that, thanks to the tireless efforts of my husband, Chris Oliver, who climbed into the belfry this morning, it is a joy to report it is 60 degrees in here.
Here, second candle for that.
Good morning, Betsy Cates, Betsy too. I'd like to light a candle of concern for my brother. He lives in Los Angeles. He lives in the center of where the 3 first large fires were. Although he was a fair distance from all of them, he is a person who leads a rather marginal existence as it is. I am always concerned for my brother, and I wish he heard that from me better than he does sometimes. And he's now in San Francisco, I think, with his cat, I think, and we don't know where he's going to be tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Ginny Stillman, and I had the joy of helping to prepare food for the progressive dinner last night. It was a real joy. I have a joy this afternoon that I want to share with you, and I hope some of you might come with me. The executive director of the New York ACLU chapter will be speaking up in Yorktown to hopefully give us some joy and some ideas about how to move forward. So if anyone's interested in joining me, it starts at 1. So right after church, I might go grab a slice of pizza on my way. So see me at coffee hour.
I turned 33 this week. The seasonal depression came back post-holidays, but also for New Year's Eve, Justin, my partner, and I brought together a bunch of people from varying aspects of our life to have a gathering, and it was really, really lovely, and I was glad to see so many people I loved in one space.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leah Nelson. I just want to continue on the vein of the UU auction and just let everyone know that I've received 2 loaves of really great bread so far from Daria Gregg, who's a wonderful, wonderful baker. So I urge you
next time, next time it comes around to take up this offer because it's so good.
Good morning. Greetings to everyone from 4th UU and Mohegan Lake. I should have said that when I got here. It occurs to me that I would like to thank also publicly Peter Calloway, who 2 auctions ago I bid on the family tree offering, and he sent me this lovely envelope full of ancestors and information that I would not have had. And I hope to engage him later because I'm going to need a little deciphering for some of it because I recognize it's so much that it will take some guidance to get through. But it's such a wonderful gift of information that I just did not know. And so, a joy for Peter Calloway. You're lucky to have him. Thank you so much.
And I would like to offer a joy for the beautiful music we have today from our guest pianist, Dan Cater. Thank you, Dan. I lit one final candle for all those joys and sorrows that remain unexpressed, and for those outside our walls who are searching for a place to bring the wholeness of their lives and be received with love.
Our meditation prayer this morning is from poet Terry Cummings. This is called The Stars Around Us. Great Spirit, whose reflection we will never see in the waters, who listens to us and watches us in silence, we lift up our hearts and our prayers to you. We know that each of us contains stardust left over from when time first began. We ask that our stardust be joined together to form a new star, a star whose light will reach into all the places where suffering and fear exist, so that together we may be that light, that star that points the way to freedom. Fueled by all of our love, the warmth of our star will touch the coldest of human hearts. Great Spirit, we hope and pray that our star will be one of many new stars in a new Milky Way. May our star and all of the stars around us shine brightly until all anger and hatred, fear and want fade away into the darkness of the universe. May it be so. Please join me in a minute of silent meditation. So this morning, I am grateful once again to be before you. Thank you so much for having me back. It's always a wonderful, heartwarming experience for me to be here in this sanctuary among so many warm-hearted and intentionally loving people. And I don't say that lightly. I am with a lot of people, a lot of the time. And so today, I'd like us to gather to reflect on visioning together as we move into this next year, this next time. As we turn the page. Visioning is a process that invites us to imagine a better future for ourselves and this congregation, and indeed the world. Albert Einstein once observed that the world's problems cannot be solved with the same consciousness that created them. Our beloved teacher, freedom fighter, and ancestor Audre Lorde took it to another level when she said, "The master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. They may allow us temporarily to beat him at his own game, but they will never enable us to bring about genuine change. In our world, divide and conquer must become define and empower." Both these ascended masters remind us that transformation begins with a shift in perspective. To create meaningful change, we must dare to think differently. We must dream boldly and act with new awareness. As we stand on the threshold of what is and what could be, let us explore together how we can create a vision for the future and the actions needed to bring it to life. Einstein's quote challenges us to imagine, Einstein's quote challenges us to examine and imagine the mindset that has shaped the world's challenges and to rise to a higher level of consciousness. This call to think beyond the ethos of inequality, environmental degradation, and conflict resonates deeply with our Unitarian Universalist principles, which encourage spiritual growth, justice, and interconnectedness. Suffice it to say that we are living in a time when courage and boldness is called for. This isn't a time to rest on our laurels or shy away from being a unifying voice in the world, but it does take courage, and it takes fortitude, and it takes vision. It takes new energy and a renewed commitment to embracing hope when hope is hard to find, and when we who continue to stand in the gap may rightly wonder whether the goal of unity, equity, and equality will ever be realized. Author and relationship consultant Barbara DeAngelis writes, "Difficult times always create opportunities for you to experience more love in your life." I don't know about you, but that's not usually my first thought when I encounter a challenge, but I'm getting better at it. Obstacles are inevitable, but they can also be opportunities to grow stronger and more resilient. As you craft your vision, as we craft our vision, consider how you and we will face challenges with creativity and persistence. How will we create safe, welcoming spaces with a purpose? The systems that support the status quo are designed to create fear and division. We know that. They take away our feeling of security and keep us trapped in survival mode, chasing our tails in the darkness. We must vision a new way forward and adopt new ways of thinking that inspire new possibilities, even in a world seemingly hell-bent on going backwards. We have to let go of our own assumptions and trust that something else will emerge when we do. So it's truth-telling time. There is always that when I'm here, right? And it does pain me to say, and forgive me please for putting this out there, but I don't know if this world will ever move beyond its attachment to racism and misogyny. I just don't know. Anybody else have doubts like that? Anybody doubt that we can get it together in time to stem global warming? What other doubts do we have? Shout them out. What else?
Clean water.
Clean water. Women's rights.
Deprioritize military control of the rest of the world.
Yeah. Deprioritize militarization. I heard justice.
Gun violence.
Equality, gun violence. Yeah. Religious freedom. We could go on, right? These are areas that we deeply, deeply, deeply care about and are desperate to see some change. So what do you think it would take to let go of that doubt, that cynicism, right? That limitation? What would it take to rise to new levels of creativity that inspires us to express our highest values rather than be held back by our imagination? In terms of this fellowship, what does love at the center really mean? You did a heck of a lot of work in 2024 to express courageous love. You really did. In 2025, what would it take to make this sanctuary a center for growth, not only for this congregation, but for the surrounding community? What else can you offer that empowers people to grow in their spirituality and their awareness, that empowers them to live bolder, more joyful lives, and that lets them know that they really are loved and lovable? So this morning I invite each of us to explore a vision for ourselves for 2025, even in this brief time that we have available. So we're going to do an exercise. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'd like you to reflect on each of them for about a minute and a half. I have to get my phone because I have to make sure that I'm... Just know you don't have to answer them all. This is an internal exercise, so we're going to do it in silence, and Dan's just going to play in the background softly. It'll be about 10 minutes worth of meditation and writing, and if you don't want to write anything, you don't have to. Okay. So underneath on this side, on the first, on the inside aisle, there's a basket with some baggies and some pens and so forth, right? There's pens and paper and popsicle sticks. So I'm going to ask you to kind of, if you're on this side, pass a baggie over to the other side, please, because they don't have baggies on this side. And then you guys take a couple of index cards, a pen, and a popsicle stick. All right, and just take, we're going to take enough time to do that. You can just dump if you want, you can just dump the stuff into the basket, pass the basket. So a couple of index cards, a popsicle stick, and a pen. yet. Just keep playing. All right, come on, guys. Who needs what? This in the back row hasn't gotten there. The back 3 rows haven't gotten there. Come on. It's coming. It's coming, guys. It's coming. A pen, a popsicle stick, 1 or 2 index cards. Good? I love arts and crafts. Don't you love arts and crafts? Arts and crafts. All right, let's do this. All right, now, for this exercise, I invite everyone to lean into the concept of courageous love. Right? We just talked about our doubts. Let's lean away from fear and cynicism, and let's lean into possibility. Right? Your head's going to say, this is dumb, I did this last week, this is not going to work, I don't care, that idea, I tried it before. Like whatever your head's going to say, right? That is, that's where fear and cynicism live, in your head, right? But your heart, that's the home of truth, right? So let's lean into our heart. Gary, you're not going to do this? All right. Thank you, my love. All right, so Dan is gonna softly play, and let's take a breath together, okay? Here's the first contemplation. What are the values that you want to express into the world? We're talking about your values. Could be core values, could be one value, could be a string of values. There's no wrong answer. You cannot do this wrong. What are the values that you want to express into the world? What wish do you have for the world that expresses those values? What wish? You could also use the word dream, intention, whatever word works for you. What wish do you have for the world that expresses those values? What wish do you have for this community or any community you care about that expresses those values? So this community, UUCHV, Croton, any community you care about, a wish that you have for that community that expresses those values. There are no wrong answers. What wish do you have for yourself or a loved one that expresses those values that you identified? What wish, dream, intention do you have for yourself or a loved one that expresses those values? create for yourself or your community that expresses those values? What action can you create for yourself or your community that expresses those values? Almost done. Hang in there. So here's the last big question. We're zooming back out now. What vision, dream, or intention can you give voice to for 2025 that has meaning for you and inspires a sense of purpose and expresses courageous love? So if you look at everything you've written, what is your vision, dream, or intention for 2025 that is meaningful for you and inspires a sense of purpose and expresses courageous love? Now, if you're not finished writing, just keep writing. The final part of this exercise is to take your popsicle stick and write an intention, a prayer, a hope, a dream, whatever it is that you articulated for yourself, for this congregation, or any community you care about on that popsicle stick. And on the other side, you can write Vision 2025 or whatever works for you. But we want you to write on that popsicle stick your vision, your hope, your dream, whatever you saw for yourself in that exercise. Remember, we're leaning into courageous love. We're being intentional. Whatever your heart is telling you to write, write that down. Just one more minute. So now we're going to collect back the pens and any extra things that you want to pass back. You can pass them into the center aisle. If you're not finished, please just keep writing. Now, I suggest these popsicle sticks allow you to keep your declaration visible. This is a good exercise to do with your kids. You can make a display with these popsicle sticks to keep this visible in 2025. You can do it for this congregation. You can do it for your family. That's for you all to discuss. So you can either pass in your popsicle stick or keep it in your pocket. The idea is let us be mindful of what our intention is as we travel through the times ahead. And it's okay if they don't all come, Gary. They can wait until after service is over. Yeah, so it's okay. Those are for you to keep, and you can keep. So you can pass in anything you'd like to pass in. You can keep everything that you've written because it's yours. If you'd like to pass in the popsicle stick, if you think that your congregation would like to have a display of popsicle sticks, I have extras. If you'd like to get some for your family, I do have a few extras. Right now, it's for you, I think, Ginny. So my final prayer here before we get to our hymn, may we continue to move forward with purpose and commitment, and may love light our way as we continue to grow together and learn from each other with intention and grace. Amen. I hope you found this useful. Please rise in body and spirit and join me in singing our hymn number 298, Wake Now My Senses.
Each week we make an offering from the bounty we're blessed to enjoy. We do this in the spirit of love and generosity, aware that we have benefited from those who have gone before, those who in their turn gave generously. Our offering goes to support the work of love and justice undertaken by this community. Today's offering will also be shared with Pride Works. Please refer to your program or our e-newsletter or the website for Pride Works so you can learn more about the great works that they do. You can make your donation in several ways. If here, you can give cash or a check in the offering plate. From your homes, you can make a donation via credit card or PayPal using the links provided in the e-newsletter or by visiting our website, UUCHudsonValley.org. Or if you prefer, you can always mail us a check. The offering will now be given and gratefully received. Dedication of the offering. Words, again, are in your order of service. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to all we stand for as a community of faith. Join me now in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not by the truth, the warmth of our community, or the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
So before I deliver the benediction, I want to apologize to you because I was looking at the clock I was in my head instead of my heart. Because really what I wanted to invite is if anyone wanted to share the intention that they created. And I was worried about the time. But I shouldn't have been worried about the time. The time will take care of itself. So, we have time. Margie.
So the board, at their meeting on Wednesday, approved the Inclusivities Team request to host a workshop in April supporting trans and queer people. It's called Building Community Beyond the Binary. Beloved Community Beyond the Binary.
Beloved Community Beyond the Binary.
A satellite event with a bunch of other unities across the United States at once.
Do you want to come to the mic? Can people hear?
Yeah, I think they're
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you for that, Margie. Anybody else have anything they want to share about the exercise that you did or anything else that you want to share? Yes, ma'am.
I'd just like to share for the community, that we embrace one another with love, optimism, and hope, and extinguish negativity.
Yes, ma'am. May it be so. Who else? Thanks, Bob. Loud.
I'd just like to share that I would be advocating for ending qualified immunity in New York
Who else created something yummy? Because I promise you, everything you created is yummy. I promise you.
I'll just piggyback on what Cindy said earlier. I know a couple of us are going to the Indivisible meeting up in Yorktown. They are hosting, as Cindy mentioned, New York Civil Liberties Union, hoping to come out with, concrete actions and how we can keep people safe.
Amen.
Be a soft place to land for those who need it, and a welcome mat for everybody else.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Beautiful.
Can you repeat that? I can't hear. Be a soft place to land for those who need it, and a launching pad.
Oh, I missed the launching pad part. Yeah, oh. Thank you. Thank you for the generosity of this community. May those intentions be heard by all. Benediction words refresh Reverend Carrie Gottfried's poetry. She calls this one Love Loudly. You can find this in the book, A Collection of Prayers, Conversations with the Sacred by Skinner House Books. She says, love loudly, spirit of light, of life, of all that is good and bad and in between. Give us the courage and inspiration to love loudly, to share our joy and compassion with others, to let them know how much we appreciate them. We all give and receive love, but loving loudly is one of the greatest gifts of all, and it is so simple. All it requires is one person who is willing to say to anyone and everyone, you are loved. You are worthy of love. You deserve to be loved. Spirit of life, help us spread love throughout our communities. Help us teach others to love loudly so that it begins to circle around so we can hear it too. May it be so. Go in peace and go in love.